Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome back. We have the Boss TU-2 Chromatic Tuner. Now, this thing has some features, 11-point LED indicators, and new stream meter display, kind of like a strobe kind of idea. And of course, a discrepancy via the speed and direction of LEDs. Gets slower as pitch becomes more accurate. 7-segment LED displays string and note names, easily visible in dark stages. 7 easy tuning modes, includes chromatic, guitar regular, guitar flat, guitar double flat, bass regular, bass flat, and bass double flat. Tuning mode setting and display style choice stored in memory. Adjustable reference pitch from 438 to 445 Hertz. 8-octave tuning range, the widest in its class. Switchable tuner off mode. Preserves battery life by disabling the LEDs. Okay, so I purposely knocked my Telecaster out of tune. And we're going to do the first 3 strings in standard tuning. Then we're going to do that stream mode. Now, I wanted a tuner that could actually handle doing intonation, and I've tried this thing for that, and it actually works quite well. I'm very impressed with that. So there we can see we're in tune. Now if we check the intonation, it's very fast and accurate for doing that, so it's going to let us know how good our intonation is as well, which is very important for tuning. You can tune all your strings all you want, but if your intonation's out of whack, all the tuning to the correct pitch in the world is not going to help you. So that's pretty bang on. Alright, so let's try the stream mode. This is kind of like a strobe idea. And you can tell the little thing here is showing flat as well. And we can go to sharp. And we're bang on. And we're good. Pretty good. Our intonation's great. As far as the modes go, whoops. Sorry guys. We just push the button here. Chromatic, guitar, flat, double flat, bass, flat, and double flat. And then back to chromatic. So, pretty simple, easy to use. You do have, of course, output and bypass. For straight output, when you have the pedal activated, it's going to shut the sound off to your amplifier, so you can tune in private. If you're in bypass, then the sound will still continue to go through your gear, and everybody's going to be able to hear you tune your guitar. So it's kind of up to you which way you want to go with it. Personally, I would go straight output. I don't even know why we get the option for a bypass mode, because it's kind of ridiculous and would be definitely embarrassing on stage for people to hear you tuning your guitar in that instance. At home is one thing, but yeah, you know, whatever. It is what it is. Runs on a 9-volt battery like all Boss pedals. Also, the interesting part here is the power thing. We have power input, and then we have a throughput to go into our next pedal. So if you have like a little joiner pedal cable, to go from one to the next, then it can do that, right? And then just loops it across. So that's kind of a neat little feature for that sort of thing. But I think as far as the pedal goes, I think it's fantastic. I was looking at a TU-2 because it is the newest one from Boss after all. The other thing too is if you're running on batteries, make sure nothing's plugged in. I would definitely say on either side, but probably just going to be the input side. But I would definitely say just take it right off the line if you are running on battery, because then this way your battery is not going to die while it's still plugged in. Because a lot of pedals, including the Boss line, they do tell you, you know, unplug the cable from the pedal if you're running on batteries, because otherwise it can just kill the battery. So I would advise the same on this. However, I like the fact that it's white. That was kind of unexpected. I was expecting a more traditional color, but I've never seen a TU-2 until it actually came into the store. They actually ordered it in from me from another store, because Boss no longer makes the TU-2. They only make the TU-3 now. And if we go and we look up quickly the TU-3 as far as price goes, TU-3. Now I'm in Canada, keep that in mind as well. So we go to pedals, and we want, of course, Boss, and up to the $200 range, and we should be able to find a TU-3 pretty quick and easy here. Line selector. Oh, maybe it's in a different range. Well, isn't that interesting? I'm on the Long McQuaid website, so how about we just do it this way? TU-3. There we go. Alright, so 149 bucks, and even the TU-3 is also in white. They changed a little bit about the pedal. They've done some upgrades to it, obviously, from the TU-2, but, you know, the thing will do intonation. You know, the TU-2. So the TU-3 is also going to be able to do your intonation for you as well. You don't really have to have a strobe tuner or a super high-end tuner to do intonation. If the tuner is sensitive enough for it, it's going to do it. And this one will definitely do it, and therefore so will the TU-3. But 150 bucks was kind of like, well, you know, I mean, it is Boss after all. Can you find me a used one, though? Because I didn't want to spend a pile of money. And I was looking at a Snark one for about, I think it was about 70 bucks or something. I've got it on my channel. It was pretty cool pedal, but this is a lot more accurate than even the Snark is. And of course more features, obviously. But I managed to get this one for 50 bucks. And I was kind of like, well, what kind of condition is it in? And so they asked the guy on the phone at the other store, and oh, it's got some nicks and stuff, you know, so, yeah, you know. And it is a discontinued pedal, too, which is another thing. You know, I mean, they're not going to pay as much. They're also not going to sell it for as much. So I thought, well, you know what, 50 bucks, it's worth a shot. So they shipped it in for me, and I was like, okay, we got a little tiny nick here. We got a little scrape there. We got a nick there and a nick there. I mean, this is nothing major. You know, I mean, the pedal virtually looks brand new, regardless, you know, other than a couple of nicks. And I don't mind that. It's used gear. It's going to get kicked around anyways. And I still get my warranty, so I'm not worried about it. But I do like the pedal. And when I tried it out at the store, I was like, okay, this works pretty good. Let's check intonation. Yeah, that definitely works really well. It's definitely going to do the job. So here, take my money. So I would recommend, if you do want to save some money, look around for a TU-2. You know, I mean, Boss pedals don't die that easily. You know, they stay very reliable for years. You know, now I deal in Canada, of course, because I live here. And I deal mainly with Long McQuaid, because they do actually provide performance warranties that I can renew every year to give me full coverage on this thing, even though it's a discontinued item. But as far as everything goes on it, I would definitely say it actually says right here it does support 7-string guitars and 6-string basses too. So you've got that support as well with this tuner. So that's also great. Now what I don't get here on the TU-3 is it says on the TU-3 that it supplies power for up to 7 Boss compact effects pedals. Yeah, no. You need a good enough power supply initially going into it for that. I use I can't remember the actual name of it. It's not a Boss one, but it's definitely a highly recommended one. It's on my channel. I think it's called an I something or other. Give me a quick sec, guys. Where do I even have this thing hooked in? Oh, can't even get at it right now. It's buried behind my amp. But you should have at least a 2 amp power supply, which would easily run, depending on the pedals, could run up to 15, 16 pedals in one shot off that power supply, still having amperage left over, right? The important thing is you got 9 volts, and you should have at least 2 amps of power, especially if you're using pedals that draw a lot more power, like 100 milliamps, 300 milliamps, 70 milliamps. You combine all that milliamp draw of those pedals, and that's what you're going to need for a power supply to run them. It's very important, because if you start shortcutting it, pedals start going flaky, or you could actually pop your power supply, or maybe even damage a pedal. But I would recommend using either the Boss power supplies, or you can get a third-party one from Long & McQuade. If we let's look quickly for power supplies for pedals, there's a lot of different ones. Oh, it's called a One Spot. That's what it's called. One Spot is the name. Now they have these in power bricks. They have a separate, just a little wall art with a long cable, which is the one I have. It was like really inexpensive, and it's actually cheaper than the Boss one of the same type, and has a lot more amperage than the Boss, and it's extremely clean power. So take a look at One Spot power supplies for your pedals, because they are fantastic and they're way cheaper than the Boss ones. Just because it's Boss doesn't mean you have to use the Boss power supply. So, but as far as tuner goes though, I have no problems giving this thing a 4.5 out of 5. Easy 4.5 out of 5. I wish I could give it more, but it's what it is. And the price I paid was fantastic. I would have even paid $75 for this exact tuner, have that been the price. I had this thing where I couldn't justify $150 for a tuner, because if that's the case, I might as well just spend an extra $100 and get the Peterson strobe tuner at that point, But then again, the strobe tuner is a real pain in the butt when it comes around. Well, at least the Peterson one I was looking at would be, as far as having that on your pedal board or whatever. And I'm slowly building a pedal board for my Black Star amp, and so I want to have pedals on there. But I also wanted an individual tuner, period. That I could just tune my guitar with. Way I go, unplug it, keep it aside, and I don't want it part of my pedal board unless I'm going to play on stage. Then, of course, I would definitely hook up the tuner in that case. And the Peterson strobe would just be too ugly looking, too bulky, and it's not going to be space convenient, right? Where something like this definitely is going to be space convenient and not bulky, and can run on power supply or battery, which is very, very convenient either way. So, but anyhow, if you're looking for a tuner, I would definitely recommend the TU-2, or if you really must have the extra goodies that are available in the TU-3, definitely go for that one. It's going to definitely be more money. It's still a current tuner. You can usually find a TU-3 used, at least in Canada, between $100 to $130, somewhere in that area. Boss pedals, although they don't all depreciate too easily, some of them do, but the more current the pedal is, it's not going to depreciate as much in value, and they definitely don't gain any value with age. That is a big misconception out there. especially when it's a pedal that Boss is actually still currently making, like the DS1 they've been making forever, and people are selling vintage DS1s and want piles of money, and it's like, I bought a virtually brand new, still current production DS1 that's flawless for $50 from Long McQuade. Like, why would I pay somebody, you know, even more than what it's worth, right? So, and I've seen used ones for sale for literally $100, and I'm like, buddy, that thing only sells for like $89 or $85 new. So, but anyway, whatever, values are values, people are people. $50 all day long, I'm in. $75 all day long, I would be in on this thing. I would not suggest paying more than $75 so on the top end for the TU-2, only because the TU-3 is the more current one, does have a lot more features, and with more of the modern guitar players out there that are playing 7 and 9 string guitars and all that jazz, I mean, you'd be looking more at the TU-3 for the more higher end guitars for more tuning capabilities, but for the majority of us out there and whatnot, this thing will be just perfectly fine. It'll work, not a problem. So, and yes, it will work with acoustic electric guitars too. It's not just for an electric guitar, it's for acoustic electrics as well. So there you go. Questions, comments, you know where they go down below. Love to be able to give you a purchase link for this, but unfortunately, like I said, it is a discontinued pedal, so you'll have to search the internet yourself, check eBay, check Craigslist, Reverb, Marketplace, but I would not suggest paying more than $75 on the top end, and make sure it's in really good shape for that too. That's the other important thing, because condition is everything, right? So anyways, there you go. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.